You're just mad. Because tonight you suckers got served.
Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. David and Elle have the baddest crew in their LA neighborhood, and while they dance at night, they're drug delivery boys late at night as they deliver drugs from a lord named Emerald. The next morning, David is awakened by the B2K groupie. The two will connect as David walks her to her job, and he gets an urgent call from Elle about a videotape he received the night before. The B2K groupie is Elle's sister in this film, and Elle is very protected over her, and he doesn't like David being with her. Back with this videotape, it's from a spoiled rich kid named Wade who calls out David and Elle for a $5,000 dance battle.
Crew versus our crew. We'll let you pick the place. We'll even let you pick the time. And as much as we don't want to take your money, the word is that you're the best crew. We have to show everyone who the best really is.
That night, after winning another battle, they have a meeting about the challenge. They tell the crew that they'll put up the $5,000, and once they win, David and Elle will get half the cut, and the other half will be split amongst the members. A member named Sonny isn't fond about the idea, as they should all split the money evenly. But you know the saying, you get out what you put in, and since Sonny or the rest of the crew ain't putting in, he'll get less. In this scene, we also meet Lil Saint, who also hangs out with J-Bug. Lil Saint is from the hood, and J-Bug is serving as a positive role model for him. He asks if he could join the crew, but Sonny shoots him down. One day, Wade pulls up on Elle while playing basketball for a response on the challenge. Elle accepts the challenge, but they'll have to dance in a week so they can practice and more importantly get the funds right. But Wade punks him and tells him that he doesn't rehearse, we just go. Refusal to back down, Elle accepts the challenge to dance tonight at Mr. Rad's warehouse. But there's one problem. David and Elle promise the crew that they'll put up the funds, but they're $1,500 short. Elle tells David he'll get the money. He will end up borrowing $1,500 from his grandmother. The night of the battle, the crew couldn't get a hold for Sonny. At the battle, we meet Mr. Chuck, an off-duty LAPD officer who has more importance in this film than you think. But when Sonny finally shows up, he stands next to Wade, betraying David and Elle. Luckily, after the scene, we never see Sonny ever again. I guess he was tried for treason and was executed for his crimes, except that didn't happen and it's the 21st century. But what Sonny did was teach Wade all of David and Elle's move. After the battle, a fight breaks out and Wade wins the money. Elle then does what black people do best when they lose, accuse the other team of cheating.
Say fair, y'all cheated, y'all stole our moves. You're just mad. Because tonight you suckers got served.
After the battle, Mr. Rat tells David and Elle not to let this battle be their downfall and tells them to walk out of here with their heads held high. The next day on the court, they discuss about last night's mishaps, but not to worry, Elle called Emerald about picking up some shifts to recoup their losses, and David agrees, but will meet him at the spot instead of traveling together as David got something to do. That something to do is going on a date with the B2K groupie, and she turns off his cell as people been blowing him up. While Elle is playing ball, he gets a phone call from Emerald to pull up earlier than expected. He tries to call David, but he cannot reach him. Emerald tells him that this delivery contains a lot of merchandise, but Elle isn't fazed. He gets to the spot, and Elle once again tries to call for David, but is unsuccessful, meaning Elle has to go through this alone. Without David, he gets jumped by gangsters, and they take Emerald's drugs. Now this scene had me wondering, did Emerald set Elle up to get jumped? If so, would the setup work had David also been there? We never know. David finally picks up his cell to find out that Elle is in the hospital. Elle is understandably pissed at David for not being there and their friendship ends. The crew also go in on David for putting gardening tools before bros.
Why you left him out like that? You know I don't roll like that. Sorry, dog. What you do, man? I mean, you did it with Doug, you did it with Chandrella, and you did it with the triplets, Letitia.
And April, don't forget about April. Elle's mind state is all over the place. How he's going to pay back Emerald, how he's going to pay back his grandmother, and how he's going to dance with a messed up leg. J-Bug later tells Elle about a big bounce competition sponsored by MTV. The prize money is $50,000, enough money to settle Elle's debts. Bug tries to get Elle and David back together, but Elle refuses. He tells David the same thing, but refuses to team up with Elle. L then gets an uninvited visit from Emerald, and they talk about how he'll get his money. Emerald tells him that he was going to give him 24 hours, but since David begged Emerald not to harm L, he is given a few weeks. We then get some intense dance scenes in the rain with the Black Eyed Peas' Anxiety, perfect song to describe each man's mind state. At the Big Bounce competition, the B2K groupie talks to Mr. Rad about David and L's problem, but Mr. Rad tells her that he already took care of that thanks to his friend Mr. Chuck, the LAPD officer who was off duty during Wade and L's first battle, meaning Mr. Chuck blew up Emerald's operation. At the Big Bounce first rounds, David Crew lost to L. After the battle, he tells the groupie that he has no ill will about losing to L and hope he wins. It was at this moment when Lil Fizz pulls up to tell David that Lil Saint was injured in a drive-by. While at the hospital, with everyone united, the doctors informed them that Saint died from his injuries and J-Bug loses it. The next day, the groupie and J-Bug tries to get David and L to squash their beef, but fails as the crews are set, and L tells David that he doesn't need his help anyway. On the day of the Big Bounce, I want to point out the Red Team. Their frontman is Dave Scott, who was B2K choreographer at the time, and he did some choreography in this movie, so I want to give Dave Scott his flowers. Anyway, L's crew changed their name to the Little Saints, and at the end of the battle, it ended up a tie between the Little Saints and Wade's crew, and both crews refused to concede. Mr. Rad goes down to talk to Lil Kim on how to settle this. They battle against each other, and the audience decides who wins. Lil Kim accepts the tiebreaker, and also says no rules, which mean they can add people to the party. David asks to rejoin, and L refuses until he realizes they could be even more dangerous when they're together. Thanks to David's help, the Little Saints duel for Lil Saint and win the Big Bounce. Wade is bitter about them winning, but David claps back, telling them that they got served.
Y'all just mad, cause today, you suckers got served. Served.
And they all lived happily ever after. That is until several members from the Little Saints appeared on 106 in Park to announce they broke up over management issues.
Yeah, we give you 2 examples. Scream Tour 2, Scream Tour 3, we didn't make any money.
3 months of touring. In total, we did 6 months of touring and didn't receive 1% of a penny. We didn't receive a dime, nothing.
When I watched this movie for the first time, I thought this was the greatest movie ever. But after numerous rewatches, I noticed that this movie kinda sucks. Dancing was the highlight of the movie, but everything outside of that fails to succeed. I think Marques Houston acting was bad, and some scenes felt forced. Example, Saint's death announcement. Overall, while the dancing and the atmosphere was great, bad acting will make this movie hard to recommend. Gotta say it. And that concludes the You Got Served review. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.